Good afternoon and welcome to the Baccalaureate for the class of 2017. It is fitting that we launch our commencement exercises and celebrations by reflecting on the last 4 years and the special brotherhood our students have shared here and will take with them following graduation. This year's Baccalaureate has a new format designed with input from our graduating seniors, and we hope you find this service to be a very special and meaningful time. Our invocation will be offered by the Reverend Keith Leach, college chaplain and pastor of College Church. The invocation will be followed by a responsive reading led by graduating senior Edward Robinson. Another graduating senior, Ryan Cluck, will then provide a meditation on the theme, Entering Hampden-Sydney as a Youth. Reverend Leach.
Would all those who are able please stand? Let us pray. Holy and blessing God, you are always more ready to hear than we are to pray. So we come in this hour thankful for your presence with us this night. As we gather in this place, we come asking for your blessings, your wisdom, and for courage as we face a new beginning. Help us to remember what has been while not clinging. Help us to use what we have learned without ceasing to learn. And help us always to seek true wisdom and guidance as we live the lives you have laid before us. Amen. Please be seated.
Good afternoon, everyone. Does not wisdom call, and does not understanding raise her voice?
On the heights beside the way, at the crossroads she takes her stand, beside the gates in front of the town, at the entrance of the portals she cries out.
To you, O people, I call, and my cries to all that live. O simple ones, learn prudence, acquire intelligence, you who lack it. Hear, for I will speak noble things, and from my lips will come what is right, for my mouth will utter truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips.
All the words of my mouth are righteous. There is nothing twisted or crooked in them. They are all straight to one who understands, and right to those who find knowledge.
Take my instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her.
I, wisdom, live with prudence, and I attain knowledge and discretion. Pride and arrogance and the way of evil and perverted speech I hate.
I have good advice and sound wisdom. I have insight, I have strength. By me kings reign, and rulers decree what is just. By me rulers rule, and nobles, all who govern lightly. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me.
Riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than gold, even fine gold, and my yield than choice silver.
Good evening. Like a typical Hampden-Sydney student, I waited till the last minute to print my speech off, and Morton was locked. So I have to use my phone. I apologize. Again, my name is Ryan Cluck, and obviously I'm a graduating senior. And I'm here to talk to you about why I chose Hampden-Sydney and why I'm here and how I've developed in my first 2 years on campus. Tyler Langhorne will speak on the next 2 years of your college life. So I'm from Kernersville, North Carolina. A small town, not too much bigger than Farmville, but it's not rural. It's in between some big cities, and I never thought I wanted to go to a small school. I always wanted to go to Chapel Hill. That was my dream. That was my school of choice. If I was going to get in there, I was going to go there, and I did get in there. But then Dean Garland kept knocking on my door saying, look at us, give us a chance, give us a chance. And so I looked, and I fell in love with the campus. And I came, and it was beautiful, and I made my decision. And I came in as an immature 18-year-old who thought he knew everything, and that wasn't the case. I knew nothing when I came in compared to the juniors and seniors and sophomores that I was meeting and to some of my classmates and friends. I remember moving into my freshman dorm in White House with my roommate Zach, and I was awestruck, thinking, this is different. I'm not with mom and dad. I'm not with my brother and sister. I'm on my own. But then I realized rather quickly, here at school, I wasn't on my own. I had 1,000 brothers next to me. And it felt like home, and it stayed my home, and it's been my home, and it always will be. But what I expected when I came here was not what I got. I expected so much less than what I received. I never thought that I would get to take trips across the world. I never thought that I would have professors who truly care and have me over for dinner or have me watch their kids from time to time, which is a scary thought. But that's what I got, and I got so much more than that. I got 1,000 friends and 250 new friends every year that came in with the freshman class, my sophomore year, the class of 2018, 2019, and 2020. And I've had the pleasure of being even closer to the 2020 class this year, being an RA. But I never would have thought coming in that this is the school that would have helped define who I am. I thought you go to school, you go to graduate school, you get a job, you get married, so on and so forth. But in my first 2 years, I learned that's not how it has to go. I learned that you can come here, take these experiences, but take it in stride, but also take a step back. I came in as an 18-year-old, ready to hit the gun running and do whatever I can, whenever I can, as much as I can. And I learned rather quickly that's not something you should do. You should take a step back and let those that are wiser, let those that have been here, been through the course, let them lead you. Let them guide you. Let them look after you. That's the point of being a junior and a senior. And as a freshman, it didn't take me long to learn that, but it took me long to accept it, because I always wanted to be in charge. But I learned rather quickly, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the fastest, I'm not the best. I'm me, and that's all there was. And I had to learn from my freshman RA. I had to learn from the guys in West House, who I was an honorary member of with Robbie right here, even though I lived in South House. And then I went home for the summer and did a summer program, and I came back. And everything was different again. I was living in a new room, a new roommate, but I was becoming a leader. I wasn't a freshman anymore. I wasn't the lowest man on the totem pole. I was the second lowest. But I still had a lot of learning to do, and I still do even today, but I learned probably the most of my 4 years during my sophomore year, when I saw the juniors that were juniors my freshman year, and I saw them graduate. I had a lot of good friends, and I saw them leaving at the end of my sophomore year. I learned that my leaders are slowly leaving, and the guys that I came in with, we're going to be in charge. We're going to be the ones helping dictate and show the freshmen, this is how you do it. Not that way, not this way, but do it this way. Do it the Hampden-Sydney way. The leadership roles that I took on my sophomore year truly helped define what I was going to do for the next 2 years. I can't thank the people that have helped me enough, and while there's way too many to name, sitting in the chairs right now or the ones that have graduated, I've learned a lot in my first 2 years, and I learned a lot in my last 2 years. But I will say, when you enter those gates your first time, you really do enter as a boy. You don't enter as this chiseled, well-defined man when you leave. You definitely come in as a raw piece of clay, and you come in ready to be molded, sometimes unwillingly, but you come in not expecting what you think you're going to get, but instead you get something far more interesting, far more exciting, far more enjoyable than you ever thought you would get. So Hampden-Sydney has stayed true to their message of creating young men and good citizens. And I am proud to say that my first 2 years helped define the man I am. And I'm proud to say that I did come in as a youth, and I will be leaving as a man. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. It's now my special privilege to introduce Nancy O. Gray, president of Hollins University, who has graciously accepted our invitation to share her thoughts on the value of single-sex education. Having previously served as president of Converse College in South Carolina, President Gray arrived at Hollins in 2005 with a strong belief in the liberal arts and the value of single-sex colleges and universities in higher education. Under her leadership, Hollins implemented a strategic plan with a goal of establishing Hollins as the women's college that best unites excellence in liberal arts education with strong career preparation. She also guided Hollins through its largest comprehensive fundraising campaign, a campaign that was also the largest ever undertaken by a women's college in the South. President Gray is a graduate of Vanderbilt University. She holds a master's degree of education from North Texas State University. She's a widely recognized leader in higher education. She also serves on the boards of many national and local organizations. Earlier this academic year, President Gray announced that she will be stepping down as Hollins president at the conclusion of this academic year. President Gray, we are very grateful to you for being with us, and we look forward to your inspiring message entitled A Question of Character: Good Men Who Will Be Great Citizens.
President Stempert, thank you for this invitation. I'm honored to be with you today. And good afternoon to all of you. I'd like to extend a special Mother's Day Eve greeting to all you mothers and grandmothers and aunts and friends who may have graduates who will be graduating tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day Eve. And congratulations to the graduating class of 2017. Ryan, thank you for your remarks, and Tyler, I look forward to hearing from you. All of you, after writing papers, giving speeches, taking exams, including the rhetoric proficiency exam, participating in labs, ethics bowls, internships, study abroad, and athletic contests, and taking a seat at the leadership table, you have gained a great education, sharpened your skills, and you are now poised for the next phase of your lives. Excited, but maybe a little anxious about leaving what you know. As you've heard, I am retiring from the presidency at Hollins after 12 and a half years this summer. Just like you, I am excited about the future, proud of my accomplishments, but a little unsettled about what may be ahead. As we both look forward to the summer, this will be one unlike almost every other summer in our lives. We have been in school since we were 5 years old. I have been in college for over 60 years. Every year, we have known that at the end of August, school would start, and for the last 4 years, you have returned to Hampden-Sydney. But this year, even if you're going on to graduate or professional school, you know that next fall will be different. Next fall will not mean returning to Hampden-Sydney or, for me, Hollins. We are indeed at a crossroads. So what do you do with the uncertainty that comes with graduation or retirement? How do you balance looking forward to that new job or graduate school with the discomfort that usually comes with change? Or what do you do if you don't know what lies ahead? As you look forward, I encourage you to be confident. Confident in your liberal arts education, confident in your character, and confident that Hampden-Sydney has formed you to be good men and good citizens. Hampden-Sydney's emphasis on your residential liberal arts education has set you apart. Liberal derives from the word liber, meaning free. It is also related to a Greek word meaning growth. Freedom and growth are the values that lie at the core of the liberal education. Your liberal education has helped you develop your critical thinking and problem-solving skills, which have prepared you for lives of freedom and growth. Here you have learned to listen, to follow an argument, to track logic and identify illogic. You have learned to read and understand, to speak clearly and persuasively, and see through the eyes of others. You have learned to write clearly, whether a persuasive letter, ad copy, or a blog. You have learned to apply scientific concepts to real-world problems, be proficient with technology, and appreciate world perspectives. You have learned to seek truth and value knowledge. Through small classes and close faculty-student interaction, as well as lively exchanges among your peers, you have learned to reason and listen, not only to others, but to your own voices. You can discern when to hold firm to your beliefs and when to compromise and find common ground. This foundation has prepared you not just for the world of work, but for citizenship, and not just for graduate study, but for lifelong learning. You are also well prepared, not just for your first job, but for your last, and for every job in between. According to a recent survey by the National Association of Colleges and Employers, the top 5 skills employers are seeking in recent college graduates are the ability to write well, the ability to speak well, to solve problems, to work in teams, and the identification and development of leadership skills. These skills are exactly what you have gained from your liberal education at Hampden-Sydney. In the booklet, This Place Ignited a Fire in Me, Hampden-Sydney graduate Richard Parker, class of '81, now managing director of his own private equity firm, comments, "A liberal arts background is the only education for our global economy." John McFarland, class of '76, a current Hampden-Sydney trustee and married to a current Hollins trustee, notes, "Today's business environment puts a real premium on clear writing and articulate speech. Learning to think is really what I developed in my 4 years at Hampden-Sydney." John Rogers, an attorney, class of '81, comments, "I was prepared because I had a liberal arts education. No, it didn't teach me the specifics of hotel-motel accounting or how to create a limited partnership, but I learned more important, enduring things." And if you are not sure what comes next, or you are worried about what you will do with this liberal arts education, don't. It will serve you well. I have 3 sons and 3 stepsons, along with my husband David. All have liberal arts educations. One, a philosophy major, is an attorney. Another, an anthropology major, runs a foundation focused on alleviating poverty and increasing social and economic justice in the South. A third, another philosophy major, is preparing for his second career and currently studying counseling. Another, a history major, is an attorney working for the Department of Defense. And the youngest, a psychology major, is a teacher. Some of them knew exactly what they wanted to do while they were in college, while others found their way a little more slowly later. Perhaps the most compelling story is Jeff's, who majored in religious studies and Third World Studies at his liberal arts college, and really did not know what the future held or what he wanted to do. After his graduation, he got a little job working as an environmental educator, and then decided to affiliate with AmeriCorps, where he was placed as a volunteer coordinator and organizer in the field of environmental sustainability. That led to an internship and then a series of jobs with the Department of Environmental Protection in New Jersey. Recognizing that he needed an advanced degree to progress, he brushed off his skills in those old math and science courses and, giving in to his love of nature, earned a Master of Science in biology. Today, Jeff works as a biologist and environmental scientist specializing in wetland mitigation, but is now learning all about fisheries, and told me just this morning, I value my liberal arts education more and more every day. How else could you make it in this world? Similarly, your liberal arts education has prepared you for a world in which you will have to learn technology yet to be invented, solve problems we don't even know are problems yet, and work in jobs that don't exist today. Futurist Thomas Frey predicts that as early as 2030, only 13 years from now, 2 billion jobs will disappear as robots and automation take over. New careers will emerge, including such professions as feedback loopers, water supply transitionists, inflectionists, fear containment managers, opportunity spotters, bio-waste optimizers, drone traffic optimizers, avatar relationship managers, and molecular gastronomists. How can you possibly be prepared for jobs like these when we don't even know what those terms really mean? The only way to prepare you for jobs that don't exist in a world that is changing so rapidly is to give you the life skills of critical thinking, creative problem solving, effective communication, and lifelong learning that will allow you to be adaptive, innovative, flexible, and ultimately successful. Indeed, you were prepared not just for your first job, but for your last job, and for every job in between. And that's saying something, given you're likely to have as many as 7 different jobs or more in your professional life. While you can certainly expect career setbacks and dramatic changes to occur in the world of work, you were prepared with an excellent education that will serve you well no matter what you face. And when you hit the rough spots, and when you move through the seasons of life and encounter changes taking place at an exponential rate, fall back on your liberal arts education. And not only that, but your education will make your head an interesting place in which to live your life. As Hampden-Sydney graduates, you have also developed strong character. Be confident not only in what you know and how you think, but in who you are. At Hampden-Sydney, you have learned character by example and by practice. One of your first acts as freshmen was to sign the honor code, and early on, you were told you were expected to say hello when you pass one another on campus. The traditions of honor, community, and spirited inquiry have given you a lifelong set of values. Ahead for most of you, from time to time, will be difficult choices and challenging decisions. You will have to make career choices. You may work for difficult bosses and problem people, face ethical dilemmas, and have to put yourself or your career on the line. But you can rely on your character lessons you have learned at Hampden-Sydney. Here you have learned the importance of honesty and integrity. Experience the joy that comes from great teamwork and acquired personal strength when things did not go well. Those lessons of character will serve you well throughout your life. and will give you an inner moral compass to guide you. And at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, you alone will have to live with the decisions you make. But perhaps one of Hampden-Sydney's greatest gifts to you is the sense of community and brotherhood. Here you have learned to live with those with whom you have much in common and with those whose experiences or perspectives differ from your own. Here you have learned to be kind and respectful, to stand up for what you believe, but also to listen and engage in civil discourse with those who disagree with you. Our country and the world beyond need leaders and citizens who have those values and those skills, and who have experienced what it means to live in a healthy, well-functioning community. You have been members of this Hampden-Sydney community that has encouraged, pushed, and pulled you, and made you want to do better for yourself and for others. You have studied together and played together, disagreed and reconciled with each other, and created unbreakable bonds through good times and bad. You've had each other's backs. In choosing to attend Hampden-Sydney, as you've just heard, you made an uncommon decision to attend one of only 4 remaining men's colleges in our country. Yet what a smart choice you made. Without the pressure and distraction of the co-ed classroom and campus environment, you have had the freedom to discern your calling, to claim and find your voices, and to fit in without having to adhere to expectations held by others. Single-sex colleges foster an environment that fuels your understanding of self and of others, allows you to test your limits, excel in the classroom, and hone your leadership skills. Here, it was cool to be smart, expected you would find your unique talents and voice, and use them effectively. And by being part of this brotherhood, you have made lifelong friends who will always stand by you, just as the network of Hampden-Sydney men will open doors for you and help you along life's way. As described by Ted Chambers, class of '82, a radiologist today, the major advantage of the all-male school is the intensity of the bond that develops among its students. The camaraderie among Hampden-Sydney graduates far exceeds that of any other school I know. You have been part of a brotherhood that is extraordinary and comes with friends for life. You'll see them at each other's weddings, and you will do business with them. And when you pass a car with a Hampden-Sydney bumper sticker, your first thought will be, maybe I know him. One essential element of your heightened sense of community is this experience in a men's college, where incredible bonds have been formed. And while I have the podium, let me also remind you that many of you will marry and live with a woman, perhaps raise daughters, and certainly work with and for women. As Hampden-Sydney men, your character lessons have also prepared you well to work with women who are still not paid equal wages to men, still face subtle, sometimes invisible discrimination in the workplace, and are sometimes victims of hypersexualization. Throughout the world, women are still harmed by poverty, illiteracy, and abuse. But you men of character know not to berate women, not to treat them as sexual objects, but to treat women with the respect and equality they deserve. In America today and across the globe, people People are polarized. People are hurting. People are living on edge and divided over issues. The gap between the haves and have-nots is only widening, and peace seems evasive. Starting at home and moving out throughout the world, many of us are unsettled by what we see. Homelessness, poverty, famine, inequality, terrorism, the threat of nuclear proliferation, and political polarization. But we are all in this together, and we need men who can make the world a better place, anchored in an ability to make sense of the world and to act responsibly and creatively in it. We must move beyond our self-interest and recognize our mutual dependence on each other. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., remember that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable network, mutuality tied into a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects us all indirectly. Your Hampden-Sydney education gave you not only an excellent liberal arts education, but helped you develop into great men, men of the highest character prepared to be great citizens. Have the courage to choose responsibility over complacency, to engage the world actively, not passively, and to choose caring for others over apathy. As William Sloane Coffman, Jr., former Yale University chaplain and author of Credo, wrote, Socrates had it wrong. It is not the unexamined, but the uncommitted life that is not worth living. Men, examine your own lives and commit to being great citizens and leaders, ready to make a difference where you can. Consider the parable of two seas. One sea, the Sea of Galilee, is fresh. Fish live in it, trees and bushes grow beside it, children splash and play in it, and people build their homes near it. The River Jordan flows into the sea, bringing sparkling water from the hills. The same River Jordan flows south into another sea, the Dead Sea. Here there are no fish, no green things, no children playing, no homes. Stale air hangs over the waters, and neither man nor beast will drink of it. What makes the difference between these two seas? Not the River Jordan. It empties the same water into both. Nor is it the soil or the countryside. The difference is that the Sea of Galilee receives water but does not keep it. For every drop that flows into it, a drop flows out, while the Dead Sea hoards its incoming water, keeping every drop it gets. And so it is with people. Those who take without giving back, and the others who remain fresh and vibrant by giving of themselves. You Hampden-Sydney men are well prepared to be citizens and leaders who will give of yourselves. I challenge you to use this great liberal arts education you have earned, the character lessons you have learned, to make this country a better place. We need you. To sum it up, what Hampden-Sydney has done is ignite fires in you. In the words of some of your alumni, Hampden-Sydney ignited a fire in me, and that fire keeps burning. As you look toward graduation tomorrow and then beyond, be confident in your liberal arts education, be confident in your character, and embrace the challenge to put your education to good work as great global citizens and leaders. Congratulations to the class of 2017. We expect great things from you.
Thank you, President Gray, for that very meaningful and inspiring message. At our commencement ceremony tomorrow, we will honor President Gray's service to Hollins University and the higher education, field of higher education by awarding her an honorary degree. We are privileged to have this opportunity to bestow on you our college's highest honor. Now, concluding our program, Senior Tyler Langhorn will offer a short meditation on the theme, Leaving as a Man. Following Tyler's presentation, our talented professor, Helena von Ruden, will share an Old Irish blessing, and Reverend Leach will then offer a benediction. I want to remind you that the senior reception begins immediately after the service in the backyard at Middle Court, our home. My family and I are looking forward to welcoming you. Thank you very much. Tyler?
Thank you, President Stempert, for introducing me, and thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful speech. You can give her a round of applause, please. So, I too, as Ryan told you, am a typical Hampden-Sydney man and forgot to print off my paper as well. So, let me see if I can stay in this. Here we are. Good afternoon. And you can all say good afternoon back. I'm not a preacher, but I do like church, and I do talk to God, so we can do this kind of like church. It's a baccalaureate, so if I say something to you and you'd like to respond, I'd appreciate it. Earlier this year, I spoke at opening convocation, and I charged all of the freshmen to live every day in pursuit of being the best brother that they could be. I encourage them to eat lunch with different groups of people, have group study sessions, take 2 a.m. walks around campus, and always take the opportunity when you get the spontaneous invitation to go to a party, because no one remembers the nights that they got a lot of sleep. If I could let you know, after my senior year and this past exam week, all I'm looking forward to is a good night of sleep. We heard from Ryan earlier what it was like during his time here, coming in as a young boy and during his first 2 years, how it feels. And I'm sure for those of us that are graduating tomorrow and we're here in the audience, we share that similar feeling. I'm supposed to talk to you about what it's like upon leaving this college. What have I thought? What have I learned? And specifically, what have I learned about wisdom? And rather than telling you about what my last 2 years here was like, I'll just share with you my thoughts when I ask that question. What have I learned about wisdom? What I've learned is to listen to everything and everyone, everything around you, and everything can tell you something. Some people don't believe that God still speaks to us, and I would have to say that I do. I do believe that God still speaks to us. When I was a child at the park one day, I asked my dad, what is the wind? Much like right now, you're looking up these trees and you see the leaves moving. And if you ever notice a tree, sometimes it's still, and then the top of it moves, and then it's still again. And as a kid, I was fascinated by that. And I remember looking at my dad and I said, Dad, what is the wind? And he looked at me and said, it is a change in atmospheric pressure. Always a scientist. But then he looked at me and he said, if you want to know the truth, if you really want to know, the wind in the trees is God. One day when you need him and you need to see him, you will ask and you'll see the wind. My sophomore year, I took a walk on Good Friday, and I was fasting. And I was on the back of the Wilson Center in a remote part of the trail that's populated by pine trees. And for whatever reason, I was filled with terror. I don't know if it's because I was alone and like I had heard about a bear or what happened, but I was just back there like super scared. And I started praying. And as soon as I started praying and I said, God, I need to see you, the wind filled the trees. It was nice and calm. Some of the trees doubled over, and it was a wind that should have scared me a little bit more, but it didn't. Last month, I was driving down the road in the rain, and I passed a woman who was carrying her groceries. Something told me to stop, and so I did. I was with a buddy of mine, and she got in the car, and I said, "Do you need a ride somewhere, ma'am?" She said, "Would you be so kind?" I said, "Yes." And I told her who I was. I said, "My name's Tyler Langhorne. I'm a senior. I'm a government major at Hampden-Sydney. This is my buddy DJ. He's a sophomore." I told her who I was. Before she got out of the car, she told me two things. The first was that she looked at me and she said, "I just talked to God, and I told him that whoever picks me up, may they be tremendously blessed." The second thing that she said to me was she looked me dead in the eyes and she said, "You're looking for something and you will find it." She said, "There's something major that you're going after, and no, we don't know what it is, but there's something you're looking for in a different way, and I promise that you will find it." She got out of the car and went into her home. What she didn't know is I had spent the night before praying God, asking about who am I? What kind of man do I want to be? Later that week, I took DJ to the ATM, and he runs in sheets, and I'm sitting outside listening to some music, and there's a fella sitting at these tables with his bags, and he's reading this book out loud, and something told me to listen. So I roll the window down, I turn my music down, and all I can hear is a low murmur. So I get out and I go and I stand beside this guy, and I realize he's reading the Bible aloud at the table in front of sheets. So I decided to listen. And when he was done, I asked the man what was he reading, and he said Proverbs 8. And so I will read to you exactly what the man read that I heard. This is Proverbs 8, verse 32. "And now, my sons, listen to me, and those who keep my ways are happy. Listen to instruction and be wise, don't ignore it. Anyone who listens to me is happy, watching at my doors every day, waiting by the post of my doorway. For the one who finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But the one who sins against me harms himself, and all who hate me love death." Proverbs 8 is about the appeal to wisdom. That night, I received an email from Dr. Vogel asking me if I would speak to you here today. And the topic on which he wanted me to speak was wisdom. I talked to one of my mentors, Jerry O'Connor, who works in theater in John's Auditorium right behind you, and we build sets for the plays for the school. And I told him about these experiences that I'd had in the week, and I told him about giving this speech today. And I said, "Jerry, what do you make of it?" He said, "Well, boy, you need to listen." He said, if God is telling you all these things and you're having these experiences, maybe it's so that you can share them. So I listened to Jerry, and today I shared them. So what does it all mean? What did I learn in my last years here at Hampden-Sydney College about listening? I learned, listen to the Lord and you will hear him. Whether you hear him in the wind and the trees that brings comfort from one of your favorite childhood memories, whether his words come from a stranger that you've helped in kindness, or you meet someone who is literally reading his word and it is delivered to you. So what have I heard here? I've heard that a man should have humility. I've heard that I should know that my gifts are not my own, but I am blessed with these abilities. So I want to change the world. I want to be a good citizen in my community by giving back and uplifting others. I want to be someone that others can look to as an example of what a good man is, by being polite, respectful, and aware of my surroundings. All things that from listening I've learned and heard makes a Hampden-Sydney man. So, what will we do going forward then? I asked my brothers. And I hope that your answer is that we will listen. And when the world needs a man that will step up with integrity and honor, all of the things that we have and that we preach here, that we will listen and hear the call and rise to the occasion. When you meet a woman who needs you to lead her as a husband, you'll lead her. When you have children that need you to lead them as a father, we'll lead them. And maybe one day, when this school calls us back for whatever they need us to provide them, we will hear them and we will listen. Thank you.
Tyler and I did not speak about the contents of my song and the contents of his speech. So. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields, until we meet again, my friend, until we meet again. May God hold you in the palm of his hand. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields till we meet again. We meet again. May God hold you in his hand.
Would all those who are able please stand for our benediction? May the God of all creation bless you this night with peace, hope, and love. May you rejoice in the wisdom of the ages and the one who created it, even as you seek to understand and live into that wisdom. May God's own hand guide you tonight, tomorrow, and forevermore. Amen.